Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we've got another really cool Chap Mei Dino Valley set to take a look at, and in fact it is another skeleton, which you can very clearly see here. But we've got an extra large version. Previously we have taken a look at two smaller versions, which I think was a small T-Rex and small Triceratops. We now have like a supersized version here of a T-Rex, it looks like. But as you can see, again, especially once I bring my hands in here, you can see that the skull itself is really quite large. It's definitely got some pretty good size to it. You can see a nice image there of the skeleton of the T-Rex as well. And then, of course, as you turn it around, you see almost the same sort of stuff here on the back, but you can now see the skull again and everything that's included here. The skull itself is pretty darn cool straight off the bat, so that's a pretty neat little collectible, but I'm very excited to see the T-Rex skeleton contained within. So let's pop this cardboard off, break this open, and check it out. Get out of there! So we've got a whole bunch of parts here. We'll just move those all over and show off the skeleton. You can see that the mouth opens up, and that's basically how you open it up to get the parts out, the pieces of the skeleton. But you can see again that the skull itself, once you remove the plastic and everything, does look super cool. It has a very neat look to it. It would be pretty fun to actually apply like a dark wash or something to just kind of highlight all of the detail, because the detail itself on the skull is actually pretty nice, and I think it would look very neat once you actually applied a little bit of like a wash of some kind to highlight the detail. But the case itself is really neat. And then of course we've got all of these wonderful pieces here of our T-Rex, as well as the, I would hope, the instructions as to how to, as to how to put the T-Rex together. So we've got a little bit of work here ahead of us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble this very quickly, and then we'll come back and check it out once it's done. So our T-Rex is put together, and honestly, it was so easy. I didn't even use the instructions. It was pretty much as obvious as it gets what parts go where. If you have any slight idea as far as the anatomy of a T-Rex, it's going to be pretty easy to put that together. We'll go ahead and slide this onto the base if I can figure out the right spots. There we go. And the Tyrannosaur skeleton is now on the base. What else is really cool about this is you also get a little human figure, which actually is really nicely detailed. And you go ahead and put him on there. So he snaps in, so that now gives you a comparison with a human being and the T-Rex, which is also really neat. But we are going to take a closer look at this very cool Tyrannosaurus skeleton from Chap Mei right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the skeleton, you can see it looks pretty good. And just like with the skull that we had that actually contained this skeleton, I feel like if you added a nice dark wash to it, it would really highlight the detail, because there are some nice cracks and crevices and nice texturing to the model overall that I think, some dark washes would really help to highlight. But what is nice is Chap Mei themselves have, of course, given this kind of like this beige color, but they, on top of that, have like a kind of like a speckling throughout, which does add a little extra color to the model, which definitely helps to give it the appearance of being actual bones a little bit more. But you can see the skull looks pretty darn cool. There's no articulation on this at all. I think there might have been potentially a little articulation on the smaller ones. There are no areas of articulation on the larger one. But as you move down the course of the neck here, you can see the vertebrae and everything all looks super cool. As we continue to lead down, you've got the shoulder there for the T-Rex, the shoulder blade. You can also see again some really nice kind of cracks and crevices and fine detail there to the shoulder blade. As you move down here, you can see the arms and everything look really nice. You've got the fingers sculpted out. I like that they have them in, different positions there. You kind of see like the fingers held apart, which is pretty cool. And as you lead up, you've got the rib cage and everything here for your Tyrannosaurus. Again, more vertebrae moving along the back as you lead into the hip. I love, again, that you can see like, little areas of kind of like cracks and crevices and some slight areas of damage and stuff as you move through. Chap Mei just adding that little element of realism to the skeleton. And as you move down, you again have the leg, all the bone structure. Everything looks awesome here. As you move down into the feet, you can see the toes are kind of held close together there as you move down into the feet of the T-Rex. And then you lead back up and you've got that nice tail, which is posed with a nice curve to it, and I like that as well. Definitely looks pretty cool. If we take a look at it from the other side. You can see the other side looks just as nice, honestly, as the initial side did. There's no awkward screw holes or anything on this. It just genuinely has a pretty darn cool appearance to it as far as a T-Rex skeleton goes. I definitely like this. And you can also see the base itself has a nice kind of like an earthy area, a nice earthy texture to it, which is pretty cool. You can see again that we even have like a downed log here through. So they did create a nice base for the T-Rex skeleton. And if we turn it around, take a look here at the opposing side, you can again see how good the base looks. It actually snaps into the base, will kind of just like, has like a peg or two on the underside of the foot. You push it down and it stays on there very nicely. You can see I could turn this upside down, shake it, it doesn't come off. So it's very stable, which is also a huge plus. And then you've got the human figure here, which you can see has actually very, very impressive sculpt and detail. Like, I'm very blown away by how good the human figure looks in this set. And he as well kind of like snaps there or pops into the base. And again, I love the fact that we have him here for a comparison next to the skeleton of the T-Rex. It looks super cool for what it is. Again, a really neat sort of extra large version of the T-Rex skeleton that we had previously from Chap Mei. As far as a size goes for the T-Rex, lengthwise you are looking at, I would say about 17 3/4 inches or around 45 centimeters, maybe a little over. And then for a height, the top of the skull just shy of 7.5 inches or around 19 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Chap Mei Dino Valley Tyrannosaurus Skeleton. And you can see again, definitely has a pretty good size, especially next to all of these figures here. And if you are a Chap Mei collector, here is the classic Chap Mei Tyrannosaurus Rex next to the Chap Mei Tyrannosaur Dino Valley Skeleton. And you can see they are definitely a little bit different as far as the size goes, but both are equally impressive in size. We've also got a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus here, stepping in for another comparison next to this super cool skeleton. And then even though it's not the T-Rex, we have one of the smaller kind of blind bag style skeletons from Chap Mei, which we have previously taken a look at. We've got the Triceratops next to this kind of supersized version of the T-Rex skeleton from Chap Mei. So this should give you a pretty good idea as far as a size difference between this larger version and the smaller version. It would have been really cool to see Chap Mei release more of these skeletons of different species of dinosaurs, similar to what they have with the smaller ones, but in these larger scales. That would definitely be really cool. So this Chap Mei Dino Valley Tyrannosaurus Rex Skeleton is pretty cool, just as cool as the other ones, maybe even actually a little bit cooler, because of course it has a much larger, more impressive size, and on top of that, I think it just generally looks a little bit better as far as the way it's kind of applied together and put together. In general, this is just really neat. It's of course something that you could buy for your kids, but even as an adult collector, I really quite like it, and it's something that your kid would probably go crazy over because it's a very nice sized version and nicely detailed version of a Tyrannosaurus skeleton, and it's not crazy expensive, and that's not something that you see very often nowadays. This retails for right around the $10 range, and again, you can find them at Family Dollar, which is where I found mine, and again, definitely worth picking up for sure, whether it be for your child or for you yourself. You know, like I bought it for myself as an adult collector, definitely worth a purchase. But the actual sculpt and everything is super nicely done because they've got a lot of really nice, very realistic detailing throughout, and I like the fact that they've kind of added that little bit of a speckling to it just to kind of give it that somewhat more realistic look as far as the actual, you know, fossil look goes. Nice tones of color, I think, chosen for the model itself as well. Pretty cool pose with the T-Rex just walking along. Nice, very detailed base that goes with it, and the human figure is a really nice touch. I love the fact that he's included on here just to kind of give you an idea of a size of the T-Rex. Definitely really neat on the part of Chap Mei to include that. So as a whole, this was a lot of fun to put together. Very easy to put together. The pieces kind of slip where they are supposed to slip together, so it's impossible to make a mistake. But again, in general, if you have any idea as far as the anatomy of a Tyrannosaur, it's a super easy build. And if you'd like, you could always apply a little extra paintwork like a wash or something to highlight the detail, and I think the entire thing would have a very realistic look to it. But definitely a pretty fun figure. If you are interested, check your local Family Dollar, grab one of these if you do see one, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.